Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. It would appear that Dragon Age the Veilguard has hit yet another low. PlayStation Plus, not 6 months? 6 months after the game's release, is on the lineup for the March monthly games. Now, I'm sure everyone already knows this, considering, day late and a dollar short for this channel. But hey, there's a little bit more to talk about. Already, Veilguard hits PlayStation Plus, at least, well, not quite everywhere, I guess, because over here, according to PlayStationLifestyle.net, it may not be quite so available in every single country out there. PlayStation Plus monthly games for March were revealed. It was pretty surprising to see Dragon Age the Veilguard. Well, at least not all that surprising. If you know, you know. Such a massively successful game, and yes, I said that with a straight face. It's just going to be offering it up for free to PlayStation Plus users for free. I kind of feel sorry for anyone that put money down on this game in February, or heck, even in January. You could have waited an extra month or two, and you get the whole entire game for free. Not everyone around the world will be able to enjoy the recently released RPG, as one particular region has replaced BioWare's latest with a Warhammer game. Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin replaces Dragon Age the Veilguard for Middle East's PlayStation Plus monthly games. Now, I wonder why they may have done that. We can only speculate, I guess. Maybe that's just not their type of game. Maybe they're not fond of RPGs or the Dragon Age franchise, or maybe, well, you go ahead and make that decision for yourself. I mean, we go from Dragon Age the Veilguard right there front and center to another screenshot that, well, interesting that something is totally missing. Like I said, you go ahead and be the judge for yourself. What may or may not be the reasons for that, judge for yourself. But the whole reason for this is that even with Age of Sigmar, even with Dragon Age the Veilguard being free on PlayStation Plus, it doesn't really seem to be helping the popularity of the game. Almost like it was a terrible game, that nonsensical game that nobody was really interested in. This coming in from Tech for Gamers. Dragon Age the Veilguard released 6 months ago, recently launched on PlayStation 5 Plus, PS5 Plus. So it's not on PS4 Plus? March 2025 lineup, but failed to gather a massive audience. Well, it's kind of sad. I can understand not gaining a massive audience with the $70 price tag and the absolute nonsensical, horrible writing and character development on that game. Sure, not going to pay $70 for that one, but it's free. Could at least try it out and download it. Whoops. Dragon Age the Veilguard was released very disappointingly last year. That's an understatement of the year so far. While fans had massive expectations for the release, like maybe a fun game with good writing and, I guess, what was the term? Back to basics, a return to form for the Dragon Age franchise, and boy, oh boy, were people sorely disappointed. A significant poll found that the title was the most disappointing release in 2024. Wow, that's a hell of a thing to say, considering it was also a year with Concord and Dustborn, and wow, you're going to say Dragon Age the Veilguard was the most disappointing. Interesting. Even though developers had massive expectation, they were fooling themselves, drinking the Kool-Aid, thinking that, oh, my diversity, my inclusion, it's the bestest ever. If we make the game for everyone, for the non-existent modern audience, surely everyone will come to play, when not realizing that regardless of an individual's political leaning, ideological leaning, people just want fun games. Make it fun first, fucker. But when you fail to do that from beginning to end, and you push your checkbox decisions ahead of everything else, well, you suffer the consequences. A recent report suggested that developers were hoping the game would sell over 10 million copies in 3 months. Really? Definitely wishful thinking. 3 months, but sold over just 1 million copies based on what metrics? I do believe that was only barely even a guess, and I don't even think it sold a million copies. It was only 1 million interactions or engagements that happened, 1.5 or 1 million engagements. That's not sales. They're changing the terminology to make themselves look a little bit better. The game was recently released on PlayStation Plus, and it appears that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection had more players than, wow, that's an older game, had more players than the recently launched Dragon Age Veilguard. Why does it matter? Well, because it's an indication of what people like and what people don't like. You know, after being denigrated, after the criticism being chalked up to nothing more than istophobe and haters and all these other people who just don't seem to like games. All the criticism trying to be swept under the rug and ignored. And yet when the game comes out and no one actually plays the game, well, that should be an indication of what people want and what people don't want. Maybe developers should pay attention and understand that gamers really, really do know what we're willing to spend our money on. Make it fun. Put that first. Put whatever ideological garbage you want in there afterwards, as long as it's fun. One game after another has been proving that, regardless of the attempted narrative being pushed behind particular games. We'll be talking about that in a video very, very soon. But nonsense is nonsense if you're surrounding it with nothing but fun mechanics, fun gameplay, interesting stories, and the occasional pretty avatar to look at. You would be surprised what gamers will put up with. Just as an example, just think about Final Fantasy VII, the original and the remake. Final Fantasy VII is an environmentalist game. Shinra is a corporation that is wanting to drain the planet dry to make money. A corporation pulling energy out of the planet. You, as the main character, are trying to fight back against Shinra. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's an environmentalist wet dream. But nobody cared about the underlying message of the game because it made sense in the game itself. It made sense in the world and the story that was presented to the player. They made it fun first. Had their little messaging in after the fact, but the game was well received. It was fun, despite having those messages in the game. No denying the messages are there. Moving on. If you look at this position in the game, Fortnite, Call of Duty, you have Ninja Turtles at number 14, Konami Digital Entertainment, and Dragon Age: The Veilguard at number 15. Now, where do these numbers come from? I do wish to know. More importantly, to True Trophies, which gathered data from 3.4 million active PlayStation Network accounts. The data revealed the most popular PS5 and PS4 games for the first week of March. Since Dragon Age: The Veilguard was released only 6 months ago, many expected it would easily reach the top of the list. Well, it's pretty bad. It's pretty telling when people aren't interested in playing the game that you're offering them for simply the cost of their PlayStation account. Says something. Here, the game's for free, and you still don't want to play it. The game had already failed to sell many copies. Understatement. Therefore, many players may play the game through the PlayStation Plus. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case. Surprisingly, the data shows that Veilguard secures the 15th spot on the list, while the 3-year-old Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection secured number 14. Not really a surprise, because I firmly believe the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will always be more popular than Dragon Age: The Veilguard. One thing after another, this game was, well, terrible, to say the least, regardless of what you feel about the character creator. I mentioned when the game first came out, I said the character creator is going to be the least of the game's problems, and boy, I hit the nail on the head. 100% correct, no doubt about it. The dialogue, the progression, the almost 100% linear storytelling, boring combat, and my goodness, Tosh in all her glory was just the nail in the coffin. But can't seem to catch a break, give it away for free, and yet nobody's interested in playing it. And they can't even get released across the world getting replaced in, well, the Middle East. Again, you make your own decision, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things those YouTubers beg you to do, and hopefully this will be the last time I talk about the Veilguard. Have a good one.